West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
Welcome back to the Jeff and
God
Bill
help us.
Show.
I
wanna bless him. We need all the help we
Denver's
can get.
spending this hour. Denver's revenue has expanded over the past decade. Common Sense Institute says, however, its spending has grown more rapidly. Over the summer, the city of Denver had been a secondary focus of budget woes alongside the state of Colorado. The city has projected a 2-year budget deficit between 2025 and 2026 amounting to $250 million, resulting in layoffs across city departments. These actions have preceded a formal proposal from the city for a $950 million bond package. Remember that? Remember that thing that you guys are going to get to vote on that brings a Native American Cultural Center to DIA? You spend $35 million on a city that's $250 million in debt on a Indian Cultural Center with a bond package. It was approved by the Denver City Council. It's going to be submitted to voters for you all to vote on this November. Through the past decade, Denver's population has rapidly expanded, which naturally grew both its economy and its budget. The expansion of both its revenues and its spending, though, exceeded the pace of population growth in that time. Further, the city's spending has outpaced its revenues, both in real terms and per resident. Simply put, the city of Denver has been spending more money in total and more money per person than it's been collecting in taxes. As previous CSI reporting has shown, Denver's taxable sales has been shrinking. I want to remind everybody, I feel like this John and the Baptist constant reminder. Half the city's revenue comes through sales tax. You only get sales tax if people part with their money willingly on activities and food downtown. They don't do that. It's not like a property tax where you could just go, you here must pay. If people don't come downtown, no money in the coffers for Mikey Johnston. Mikey doesn't get progressive spending projects. It's that simple. That's why he's spending $0 on illegal immigrants next year, because he just run out of the money. All right. So taxable sales in 2024 dollars, adjusted for inflation and population in Denver County, fell 2.5% from $21.8 billion in 2023 to $21.3 billion in 2024. We are going to be joined by the executive director of the Common Sense Institute coming up, because there are more stats that are going to shock you. You're not going to want to miss this. Now is time, though, for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. Monday, 63 and cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 77 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Wow. Erica Kirk, about 100,000 inside State Farm Stadium Sunday, applauding, standing ovation, reports of an estimated 200,000 outside, and 100 million via live stream, Jeff.
She had a great line right before that, too, where she referred to Charlie Kirk's love for the Lost Boys.
Yes.
Did you hear that line?
That was great. Yeah.
The Lost Boys on college campuses. So
yes.
she talks about the failure of our culture, of our education system, that you have kids in college that don't have any direction. They believe that the college education is going to open doors for them, and in some cases it will, but They don't have a spiritual foundation. They don't understand what this country's all about. They don't know why they're here. They don't know where to go. And she remarked about Charlie's love for those lost boys on college campus, and it was that exact type of person, that lost boy, that ended up assassinating Charlie Kirk.
Absolutely.
I mean, the way they put that whole narrative together was just remarkable. It was so powerful.
Now, I've seen so much video over the past 11, 12 days. I heard a conversation and a guy that looked like the assassin, and they said it was the assassin at a different location. Did you see that by chance?
I have not seen that, no.
Okay. But, yeah, you're exactly right. He is the type of young man that he was trying to save. And he did save. He saved a lot of them. And just troubled, confused, listening to the world and basically Satan. And that was his mission. You are correct, Jeff. Stephen Miller was, come on.
He was awesome, man.
I
loved it.
He was Stephen Miller.
Yes. 100%.
And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity.
So true.
I love the fact that he spoke, Donald Trump spoke, because we were just talking about coalitions and what, and the fact that I'm generally a coalitions guy. So I'm looking at yesterday's speech, and I'm looking at the coalitions that Charlie Kirk had built. And you get this critique oftentimes within the conservative movement. Well, you're not a fighter enough, or you're not a Christian enough, or Donald Trump doesn't believe the Bible like Billy Graham does, that type of thing. And each play their role within the movement. So I'm watching, we're doing worship, and it's beautiful. And the worship, like Chris Tomlin, for instance, right? Chris Tomlin's not going to get up there and give a speech like Stephen Miller did.
No.
But what Chris Tomlin delivered was wonderful. What Stephen Miller delivered was perfect, right? Like,
yes.
I want to hear, in the midst of the assassination of my friend, somebody that's going to go out into the street and round up people that are creating this violence. Yes. I want that removed from our society. Chris Tomlin's not going to deliver that. Stephen Miller is going to deliver that. So absolutely unleash Stephen Miller. Donald Trump, what they did was perfect for what they bring to the table.
Absolutely. I thought it was perfect. It's just, it flowed great with me. I loved it. Big story in Florida and nationwide. The Florida Education Commissioner is revoking the teacher's license for an educator who celebrated the assassination of Kirk.
Based on the evidence and investigation, this morning I found probable cause for 4 different charges. Number 1, gross immorality. Number 2, failure to protect the health, safety, and welfare of students. Number 3, reduced effectiveness as an educator. And number 4, failing to distinguish her personal views from that of a public educational institution. As a result, we will be seeking the revocation of this educator's license.
Good for them. Awesome. DJT calling out Pam Bondi over the weekend on True Social. Told her it's time to round up the bad guys, the evil people in corrupt government.
In regards to Pam Bondi, who should she focus on as far as bringing accountability?
Everybody, really. It's a big office. She's doing a good job. But focus on everybody. There are a lot of crooked people that were here before me. You had people that almost destroyed our country. If I didn't win this election, our country would be destroyed. We wouldn't have a country right now.
All right, so he danced around it a little bit, but I think you need to keep an eye on that in the days, weeks to come. New Colorado House Minority Leader, Republican Representative Jarvis Caldwell, who, by the way, if Jarvis Caldwell, if that doesn't sound like the name of a wide receiver, I don't know what name does. Jarvis Caldwell on with Jeff and Billy last hour.
I don't know everything, and so I want the opinions from everybody. And so, things get hectic during session, but we're all on the same page, and we all pretty much have the same beliefs. And so it's just kind of the strategy maybe where we differ at. But, that's something we can get over quick. We did really, really good this past session and special session, and we're going to continue to do that.
Touchdown, Jarvis Caldwell, Republicans. Authorities in the Dominican Republic say they've confiscated cocaine transported by a speedboat that was destroyed by the U.S. Navy. According to officials, the boat was destroyed near a small island that belongs to the Dominican Republic. 47 says he'll make a major announcement on autism today at the White House. He said he believes an answer has been found. An Oklahoma man is dead after being mauled to death by, you guessed it, a tiger that he was caring for. And this goes back to the TV show Tiger King. Officials at the Tiger Preserve have identified the victim as Ryan Easley, and they're calling his death an accidental one in nature. Officials say Easley was an associate of Joe Exotic, who we all know came to fame on the reality TV show. That was a total insanity, that thing.
Okay, got a question here.
Yes.
When you say you're an associate...
Wait. First of all, before you even continue, you continue, I'm sorry. How did I know in my head that you were going to jump on after this story?
I can almost feel it.
I apologize. Go back to you.
I was like, when someone says you're an associate of Joe Exotic, is that a positive or a negative? I mean, if someone said, that Blake Olson, he's an associate of Joe Exotic, would you say, you keep that name? I mean, what do we do with this? I mean, that's a weird one. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And true to form on this show, I've never watched.
Oh, you hadn't.
You have not enjoyed the spectacular failure of humanity.
Of this trio right now. You think I've spent time watching Tiger King?
I'm the one who usually doesn't watch these things, but dude, you gotta watch that thing. That is
that's like 5 years ago at this point.
Yes.
This was peak pandemic.
Yes.
It's
Netflix.
so disturbing.
But we gave up Netflix when they all got weird pro-abortion, and then who knows?
It's so weird. It's such this weird focus on humanity and so many people's lives that have taken a very tragic turn. And there's even a question about possible murder. I mean, and the fun thing is, it's not murder by Joe Exotic. He has this, for whatever weird reason is, inside the idea of people that keep exotic animals, there's some sort of beef between Joe and this other woman. And there's this allegation that she killed her husband. It just kind of pops up out of nowhere. You're like, hey, hang on. That should be a bigger part of this here.
Didn't
there's
he
so
end
many
up in
things.
jail, and then didn't he run for president? And he tried to get a pardon.
Yes.
It is so horrific to watch, but you have to watch it.
You have to. In part because not only is it the discussion and there's this weird window on humanity, there are also some incredibly questionable fashion choices that are made along the way that you've got to enjoy. Just,
dude,
someone
text
got up,
messages.
put that on and looked in the mirror and said, I look good, and then walked out the house. And
text
you're like,
messages
wow.
right now are, Jeff, don't watch it. It's a weird train wreck.
It is a train wreck.
It is.
And it slowly happens.
Satan's playground, I'm telling you, man.
It is so many things.
Horrible. But I couldn't stop watching it, man.
Yes.
And I accidentally stumbled. I'm like, what is this garbage they're talking about?
Yes.
Dude, I'm like, I cannot believe human beings live like this.
Yes.
And it's, then, so now every time I see someone homeless, I think about that show, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just horrendous, man.
It is. Oh, yeah.
It's so
many.
sad because I think of Oklahoma now. I think of that.
Yes.
That's
what
and it's not fair to them.
Oh, no, not at all.
Should be thinking about Boomer sooner. Or Tulsa upsetting Oklahoma State over the weekend.
Although every time I see someone wearing a certain pattern, color of pants, and a certain hair dye choice, I'm like, that brings me back. Wonder how Joe Exotic's doing. Yes.
I had nightmares over that thing. Jeff, go watch it.
Yeah. It's not with the
kind
kids,
of like
though.
the nightmare.
Not with the kids.
Oh, right. It's kind of like the bad dream yesterday with the Chargers.
Got it. 23-20.
Zeros on the clock. It's over, and the Chargers remain unbeaten.
But the Broncos fall to 1-2. They lose on the road to Los Angeles. The game was tied at 20, and then you heard the field goal. And then CSU fans know all about this guy.
Left-footed punter booms one down the field. Good punt. Driving Horton all the way back to his 6-yard line. Horton on the return at the 20, right up the middle to the 30. Now Horton to the outside. Torrey Horton down the sideline. And it's a touchdown. 95 yards.
Wow, man, he is on his way to a Rookie of the Year, possibly. We shall see. 54 in Parker, 55 in Broomfield, 57 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast. We're going to start off our day with some sunshine, and then as we get through the afternoon, clouds will pick up with afternoon showers and scattered thunderstorms. Highs today will be in the mid-70s. Cloudy, rain likely tonight, continuing Tuesday. Could be heavy at times. Lows in the upper 40s. With clouds tomorrow, may not make it out of the mid-50s. Mid-40s with showers winding down Tuesday night. More sunshine Wednesday. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, dependable service, call 720-851-1691 or visit them online at besteverhvac.com. Meteorologist Dawn Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Well, you know that old saying, just the facts, man. Just the facts. Well, they provide facts on policy decisions in this state better than anybody else. It's the Common Sense Institute of Colorado. You can go to their website, commonsenseinstituteus.org, commonsenseinstituteus.org. They look at just the facts, what's happening in our state. And they have a great study out on Denver spending in the last decade. And joining us to give us some insight is the executive director of the Common Sense Institute, Kelly Caufield. Good morning, Ms. Caufield. Thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yes, good morning.
Of course, thank you.
We got a little bit of an echo. I think Bill's going to work on that. All right, I think we got it. We got it? Okay. I want to ask you about this study, Denver spending in the last decade. What did you learn?
So we previously at Common Sense Institute, we've done state budget analyses where we'll do the budget then and now, where we look at the entire state budget of Colorado. We look at trends over 15 years. So this time we wanted to do the same thing for just the city of Denver. Denver budget, I think, is of a lot of interest to many people. I live in the city of Denver, and we found very significant increases in their expenditures. So we found that Denver's real expenditures, inflation adjusted per resident, has grown over 50% in the past decade. That's really significant, and we wanted to better understand trends across each department as well. And I think the part that concerned me the most was the share of public safety spending has really decreased over 10 years. It used to be more than 1/3 of Denver's expenditures at about 34% of the overall budget. Shift 10 years later, and it's really shrunk to less than a quarter, so it's down 24%. Again, as a resident of Denver, I would appreciate more, I think, focus on public safety. So that was a concern. You also see pretty significant increases in capital investments. We all want our, infrastructure to improve in the city. But I think a lot of people are questioning, will some of these capital investments really make anything better? The Colfax, BRT construction, I'm sure, is a part of that capital investments we're seeing. And I think many Denver residents are still curious about the payoff for that kind of long-term construction project.
This comes at an important time, too, because voters are going to be making a decision on a $950 million bond package. I think the general sense from people in Denver, and I've seen some polls that indicate this, is that while the spending is up, the services, the quality of life in Denver, all that stuff isn't necessarily meeting the needs. Now, they would grant that Mayor Mike Johnston has gotten rid of a lot of the homeless encampments. Those are no longer there. But they've moved them into these homeless hotels, those types of services. But as you guys point out, money has been going up. I'm not sure that people really feel that the city of Denver is any better. What are your thoughts on that, Kelly Caufield, Executive Director, Common Sense Institute?
Those 10 years, again, this is a long-term trend. This is not just looking at the immediate budget challenge that the mayor and the city council has been really open about. You know, over the last 10 years, this increase in capital outlay expenditures, that's including the airport construction, renovation of 16th Street Mall, the BRT, that rapid bus transit along Colfax. I think the question is, are we seeing the investments paying off? You know, the 16th Street Mall project certainly took a lot of time and created some challenges. We heard a lot of those small businesses along the 16th Street Mall corridor express frustration about how their retail sales were declining because of these long-term construction projects. And I think, to me, Bill, that's really an interesting part of this report, is really the retail sales growth. And when we compared Denver, we didn't want to just look at Denver, right? So we were curious, when you looked across almost 400 metro areas across the country, when you look at, it's not just Denver, it was the Denver Aurora Centennial metro area, they had the third lowest retail sales growth across 400 metro areas. And that's a big part of the budget story, likely. If you can't keep your retail sales up, you are going to have budget challenges.
Wow, I want to just emphasize that for a second here. Third lowest retail growth in the major cities across the country. Is that right, Kelly?
That's right, exactly. Across 387 metro areas, we were in the bottom three, and that was from the end of 2024 through the first quarter of 2025. So when you delineate just down to the Denver, metro area, we're talking about a decrease of about $145 million in sales tax revenue. Again, that's across the whole Denver metro area, but the city of Denver is a huge part of that. So if we had stayed on top of retail sales, that would have been enough to make a pretty material difference in the city of Denver's two-year budget shortfall, which is cited at $250 million. So yes, retail sales declining is a huge part of this story.
And I understand the critique that it's the development on Colfax Avenue and all that stuff, and the 16th Street Mall that's a real problem. Believe me, I went down there. I filmed videos about it. The 16th Street Mall was a real problem, but and this is my theory. And Kelly, you're welcome to critique it. And I know you're a numbers person, so I know policy isn't the big aspect of the work that you all do, but Giuliani used to have what he called the broken windows theory, which is if you allow one broken window in a home, you're going to allow multiple broken windows, and essentially crime will compound if you don't address it at the lower levels. I've looked at the city of Denver. I'm a Colorado native. And my theory for what Mike Johnston should do is what I call the woman in pearls and a fur coat theory, which is your city relies on sales tax revenue. Half of your budget relies on sales tax revenue. And so the only way you get that is if people come to the city and spend money. There's no other way to get it. You can't go tax other people. We know raising property taxes isn't going to work. So you have to have the ladies from Cherry Hills coming to the city of Denver, going out to eat, going to plays, going out to sports events. You need people to feel safe, the people with extra income that they can spend in the city. You want them to feel so safe in the city that that they go and spend a lot of money. So even if you believe in progressive programs, you got to have the people with extra income coming into your city to spend the money so you can run your progressive programs. It doesn't work any other way. And when I look at your report and I look at the fact that spending on police and community safety is going down, I go, they're still not getting it. What are your thoughts, Kelly Caufield, Executive Director of Common Sense Institute?
It's a great question. And people, consumers, they have choices in the marketplace. They are shopping with their feet. They vote with their feet. If you understand safety, but you also understand the sales tax. And Denver had a number of sales tax increases on the ballot last election. And one of those measures did pass. So a consumer can go to a different jurisdiction. There's a lot of options close by. You don't have to go down to the 16th Street Mall to purchase your clothing or your makeup. You can go to one of our nearby subdivisions or suburbs. So I think that is true. When you're beside a lot of other jurisdictions with different taxing decisions, consumers make those decisions. And second, you're right, public safety. In 2015, public safety spending was 34% of Denver's expenditures. Fast forward 10 years later, it's down by 10%. It's 24%, less than a quarter of total spending. So it really does seem that the city is prioritizing. Again, this is a 10-year analysis. Over time, you're seeing this increase towards capital investment and less of a focus on public safety. And I think consumers are making choices based on where taxes are lower and where they feel safe.
That voice is Kelly Caufield, Executive Director of Common Sense Institute. Kelly, where else did you see revenue increase as far as the spend? I'm not talking about bringing in increased revenue, but if we're not spending the money on the public safety and there's an increase in capital investment, where else in the analysis did the Common Sense Institute find an increase in spend from from the city of Denver?
Yes, great question. The categories that are seeing growth, so with public safety decreasing, what's increasing? Great question. So the increase is coming from a lot of the capital infrastructure improvements that we've discussed, so 16th Street Mall, airport construction, the rapid bus transit lines. But we're also seeing community development expenditures growing at a pretty high rate, jumping 480% over 10 years, from $50 million to $320 million. So community services, a lot of the nonprofits that are serving individuals in the city, food insecurity, homelessness, and other programs, those have seen a pretty big increase that has been, identified by a lot of Common Sense reports over the last 10 years.
And then as well as health expenditures growing 200%, $82 million to $246 million. So that seems to be where a lot of the money is going in this report. All right, give us your read on the future of Denver. You're looking at the last 10 years. Have they set themselves up for success? Where should they make changes in your mind, Kelly Caufield?
So I think the city council and the mayor have been talking a lot about increasing police and increasing that investment in the most recent budget. So I really applauded that and appreciated that change. We know that the mayors had to do layoffs and furlough city employees. It's unfortunate for those individuals and those families, but I think that is movement in the right direction. I mean, clearly the city has more expenditures than revenue it's bringing in, so tough decisions had to be made, and I appreciate the mayor and the city council for doing that. It was interesting when we looked at the number of city jobs, it actually matched the growth of non-government jobs. Still felt pretty high. I mean, it was a 20% increase over 10 years for the number of city jobs for the city of Denver. that seems high when we know that net migration is decreasing in the metro region. But still, it was increasing at the same rate as non-city jobs. So I think they're making some good decisions in terms of FTE growth. They had too many jobs for the amount of services they are providing. So I'm an eternal optimist, and I do think that things will have to get better before they could get any worse.
They're going to have a big bond package to vote on. I'm sure you all will be providing analysis on that before November. We have our own feelings on this show about that, but that'll be before voters. $950 million bond vote coming up this November for the city of Denver. Well, look, in the policy debates, Republicans, Democrats, they all fight back and forth, challenge each other's assumptions. You don't approve this because you don't like this, that type of thing. It is so refreshing to have a think tank in Colorado that just provides the facts in a nonpartisan way, lets you make the decisions with regards to policy, but they do fantastic research. I'm a supporter of Common Sense Institute US.org, commonsenseinstituteus.org. I highly encourage, go donate to them today. They've got some great events coming up as well where they dive into these numbers. But DJ Summers doing a great job. Kelly Caufield doing a great job. The entire team there, fantastic. Kelly, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Jeff and Bill. Really appreciate it.
Let's talk advanced hair restoration. For many of us, it's happening. Your hair's thinning, your crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity's lost altogether. Well, I got good news for you. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. Look, we've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if what you want is your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class Dr. Tanya Pauls, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Give them a call at 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com, advancedhair.com. I will have a link to Denver spending in the last decade at x.com/Jeff Hunt if you're having trouble finding it. But I recommend you go to commonsenseinstituteus.org, click on Colorado, and they will have all sorts of different reports, research, news, events coming up. So, great organization there. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Denver spending over the last decade, revenues growing, but expenditures growing even more. That's probably not shocking to you all. But knowing that most of your money has gone to capital improvement projects, healthcare, and community development, while the share of spending to police has gone down in the city of Denver. What do you think? And do you blame the outcome for that? I think a lot of people still feel that the city's not safe. And does this make you want Donald Trump to bring in the National Guard even more? Love to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking a report from our friends at the Common Sense Institute on Denver spending in the last decade. And as you can imagine, expenditures per resident going up, real revenue going up. Denver's real expenditures per resident grew 51% in the past decade. In the same time, real revenues coming in per person grew only 30%. So more money going out the door, more money coming in, but not at the same rate, and not spending as much money on public safety. Instead, putting the money towards things like community development, capital outlays like the 16th Street Mall, and health, of course. Let's go to the phone lines. Jim in Denver. Good morning, Jim. What do you think of all this?
Morning.
Well, good morning. It's a very. I'm going to try to be very succinct. I think the leadership of Denver has been off probably for the last 10 years in how they attempt to transfer people in the city through buses. I think they anticipate we're going to continue to build high rises, not provide parking, and everybody will take the bus. Unfortunately, the Denver city, as you know, is not built for bus traffic or light rail. It's not a New York. It's not a Chicago. So I think philosophically, they are taking us down the wrong road. A perfect example is the Colfax bus system that they're attempting to decrease traffic flow and put more people on buses. People who live in Denver, who work Denver Tech Center or outside of the downtown area, will not take the bus. They will drive. They will need cars. I think that's evident by the big apartment complexes where everybody's parking on every nearby street and there's no parking in the complexes. Now the city is saying, oh, we're going to change the parking requirements of big complexes. You don't need any parking space for the big complexes because people will take the bus. That's one issue. The other issue, I think, so henceforth we do all this capital expenditures on the bus system down Colfax, and I hear they're going to do the same thing down Colorado Boulevard, which is only going to tie up the traffic on Colfax and Colorado. In my anticipation, in 15 years, we will be ripping this out and building new roads back on Colfax and Colorado Boulevard. The other issue, I think, just to kind of end my rant, is the system they have in the homeless. And buying these hotels several years ago, I'm thinking, buying a hotel is great, but what's going to cost to maintain these places? Now they got 24-hour security. They got major upgrades. I mean, the expenditures got to be huge. And, of course, there's no revenue coming whatsoever. So I think
Jim, I look at your examples with Chicago and New York and those types of things, and they're centers of business. There's a tremendous amount of economic activity taking place there. I'll be honest, I look at Denver, and I don't think there's any economic activity happening at all. I mean, you got some sports teams down there, but that's about it. I mean, all those high rises used to be oil and gas. Jared Polis got rid of all those. So they're selling on pennies on the dollar because I don't know what economic activity is actually taking place in the city of Denver. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I think you're absolutely right, especially in the downtown area. And on top of that, you look at Chicago. Well, they've got systems that were set up from an infrastructure years ago where they built a good light rail system. We do not have that in Denver. Even if we were a business of economic development, people could not get down there from a bus system or from mass transit. It's a mess. And people are not going to take it. And once again, if they did have economic development, people would work down there. But like you see, more people going down to the tech center now than anywhere else.
That's exactly right. Jim, great call from Denver. Appreciate your time this morning. Jim. Thank you. Jim's line will be open if you want to join us, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's go to Evan in Denver. Good morning, Evan. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
I'll just make 2 points. I hope you can hear me clearly. Number one, from day one, when marijuana was legal, and I spotted a car from Pennsylvania in obviously buying marijuana, everything has gone to HE double toothpicks. Second point, everybody I know who's wealthy, I'm not wealthy myself, has moved to Aurora and gotten out of Denver, and they never, ever go downtown Denver anymore. And that's it. Whatever they're doing is wrong.
Well, Evan, to that point, at one time we had more marijuana shops than we had Starbucks and McDonald's combined, and that doesn't necessarily bring in the right elements. What I've been amazed at is the prioritization that this administration, even prior ones, Hancock and going back to Hickenlooper, have made towards people that don't really benefit the communities, right? So filling your cities with pot shops, not necessarily the best. How they've bent over backwards to try to accommodate and provide services for the homeless, for the drug addicted, and for the illegal immigrants. They have really gone out of their way to spend time, money, and develop policies to cater to them while you don't see the same effort on the actual producers, people that make things, build communities, build jobs, employ other people. I would love to have a mayor that goes, you know what, my top priority is going to are the job creators. And I want to make Denver so welcoming to you and have the policies that get you to build your careers and your jobs and your businesses in this city. That's my top priority. You don't see it from this mayor. Evan?
Amen. You're right on, brother.
I appreciate
right
it.
On.
Evan, thank you so much for the call. That's Evan from Denver. His line will be open 303-696-1971. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're kicking it off this week. It's going to be a wild one. Danielle Zorinsky joining us tomorrow, which will be a ton of fun. Today, we had the new Colorado House Minority Leader, Jarvis Caldwell, on with us. He gave us his vision, how he plans to lead Colorado House Republicans. Kelly Caufield of the Common Sense Institute joins us on a 10-year Denver budget analysis. And yes, as you can imagine, policing not the top priority. I think everyone would go, yeah, that's kind of evident to all of us. But glad we were able to finally put it on paper.
Yeah.
Bill, if you were mayor, what would you do? What would be number one step for Bill Thorpe, his first day as mayor of the city of Denver?
Take the day off. Everybody go home. We don't have enough weekends.
I would actually vote for that.
Yeah.
I would vote.
Let's just go home.
I would absolutely vote for a politician who just checked out. Because it's better than what you're doing right now, which is wrecking everything.
Yeah. It's just
Mayor Mikey Johnston.
Yeah, it's the thing for me that is, and I don't know if the Republicans are going to be able to make enough hay with it, is the travesty that turned out to be his homeless and immigration programs because of the amount of money that was spent versus the scant few of people that came out on the other end as a result, and then it zeroed out in the budget. That's where I would go. I would sit there and say, "Are we going to?
It all went to Lorena Garcia's bottom line."
Yeah, but wherever it went,
she had a hell of a
spent.
Vacation.
Yeah, she did, and that's the question: is what do you do, and where are you going to spend the money, and how are you going to spend this cash? So that's the idea: is that when they spend this much millions and millions of dollars and aren't able to get the results they promised, then you need to start asking the voters, can you trust them to make the other decisions? But that's only if the GOP wants to fight the economic battles.
No, because apparently it's just a marketing issue.
Well, you got to fight. Yeah, it is. It is because you got to fight the economic battles. You've got to not fight the social battles. You're not going to win the social issues here. You got to fight the marketing battles.
We are showing the entire city. They spent $356 million on illegal immigrants. They're $250 million in the hole. They're firing their own employees, cut services to their own people, and I guarantee you, they will elect a Democrat again into that office.
Well, you need to use that information and leverage it to make the economic reasoning. Because I remember in the past how we've had a lot of people fighting about, we had a representative who was running for national office that shot a copier claiming he was going to go after Dominion voting machines. You got to understand where the temperature of the room is first. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the debates will continue. We're just kicking it off. It's day 1 of 5. Billy and I will be back tomorrow. The Charlie Kirk Show's next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.